One. Well, the hits keep coming, and we have two storms we're tracking for next week. It's meteorologist Joe Martucci, and welcome to Snow Search. I am joined by my weather brother, Sean Sublette. Sean, you are in Virginia. I am in the Jersey Shore. We have not seen much snow, but for many of our listeners and viewing audience, that is certainly not the case.
No, a lot of snow to be found, not awfully far away, but I think for a lot of folks in Jersey, South Jersey, down here to Virginia, it's just been raining like crazy, right? There's been flooding, there's been wind. We've been missing out on the snow, but we do have a little opportunity, we think, going ahead. So let me tell the folks what Snow Search is all about. If you're
Let's do it.
joining us for the first time, what we do here is we look ahead at snow and cold threats for the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast for the following week. So in this case, January 15th. This is a broad overview for how storms may or may not play out from North Carolina to New York, but we're not going to be able to tell you specifically how much snow you're going to get 8 or 9 days from now. Just kind of our crystal ball looking down the road. But there has been some snow not awfully far away. Joe, take us back through the map.
Yeah, I just want to take you through how much snow we've seen from Sunday through Wednesday. And for us, it really encapsulates the storm we had, for part of over the weekend and then Tuesday until Wednesday. We see a lot of places that did not have snow at the end of the new year, or at the end of last year, I should say, getting snow in the new year. And that means a lot of the Central Plains, the Southern Rockies, and even parts of the Northeast. So we were on course just 2 weeks ago where a lot of the United States was below average for their snowfall and the snowfall cover. But we're making up for that now. And, Sean, we say it right, cold breeds cold. And as you get cold with the snow,
Yes, it does.
you have a greater potential for cold and snow, especially in the places like in South Jersey, the Jersey Shore, like where you are in Richmond, Virginia, down the parts of the Carolinas, to get snow. I'm not saying we're going to talk about blockbuster snow, but at least the potential for some snow. So let's take a look at those indexes, these winter indexes that we do talk about every week here on Snow Search. Are so important to this video and to our forecast over the next couple of weeks here. So we look at the North Atlantic oscillation. It continues to remain negative. And that means a cold and big storm risk. So we've certainly seen big storms, not much in the way of cold, but we've certainly seen the big storms. And Sean, when you get it going from a negative state to a neutral state, which is what we're expecting as we get towards the end of next week and into early the following week, doesn't that usually at least heighten the chances for a larger kind of all snow event?
Yeah, we get that. We call that meridional flow in the business. These larger ups and downs, north and south pushes in the jet stream, which give you a better opportunity to pick up cold and indeed snow.
Yeah, and the Arctic oscillation is right in lockstep there with that negative to then neutral swing over the next really 7 to 10 days here, where not this weekend, but the following weekend, where it gets to a state where we're going to be watching out for another storm. So again, we have that storm next Tuesday and then another one the following, which will be the following Friday. We'll look at the PNA, the Pacific North Atlantic Index here, or North American Index, I should say. It stays stubbornly neutral, so no real influence on that over the next couple of weeks. This is the North Atlantic oscillation in its negative stage on the left here. You see, like Sean said, meridional flow, that wavy pattern here where the jet stream can give us more of those south to north moving storms, which give more people the potential for snow, especially along the immediate coast. Sean, I'll give it to you to take a look at our mid-level weather pattern and what we're looking at next week.
Yeah, Joe, as you mentioned, two primary storms. We look at the 500 millibar pattern. That's what we call it in the weather business, but basically about halfway up into the atmosphere. This is the jet stream flow, or what really drives storm formation and storm movement. You see that great big L up there in Canada. That's the tropospheric polar vortex, not the main one, which is up in the stratosphere. But the idea here, that's a big pool of cold air. But down to the south of that, near Tulsa, there's that first little wave of low pressure kind of rotating around it. As that comes through early next week, that's going to be the impetus for the first storm. Once that one goes by, the whole vortex kind of like spins around again, drops another little system into the upper part of the Midwest, and then that one kind of cycles back into the Northeast for the latter part of next week. So this is why not only is it going to get stormier, it is going to be colder in the eastern United States next week. The kind of cold we haven't seen a lot of so far this season. But that's why we've got two particular storms of interest early in the week and late in the week next week. Once we get past this week's storm on Friday, Joe.
Yeah.
So take us through how this first one might play out early on next week.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at the map here, and I am bringing the wintry mix all the way down to the coast from New York down to the Delmarva Peninsula here. Now, how much wintry mix are we going to see? For example, is it 90% rain with 10% snow, or is it 90% snow, 10% rain? It's a little too early to tell, but what I can say is typically the closer you are to that rain line, which is in eastern North Carolina and Norfolk, Virginia, the better chance of that being mostly rain. And the closer to the northwest in that blue area where it's mostly snow, the more likely there is for more snow rather than rain. But I would say for those areas in pink, I do expect some snow with this storm. We're getting colder. Martin Luther King Day itself looks to be a day below average all the way up and down the East Coast. And, if you're in New Jersey, for example, where I am, 10 degrees below average, that's enough to get you snow with high temperatures just above the freezing mark. And even in, Richmond and Roanoke, 10 degrees below average, you're in the ballpark there for snow. So that's certainly in the realm of possibility. Now, what we're also going to look out for with this storm is how much do these two pieces of energy interact? So we have the low pressure system at the surface that's going to move up the coast. But then we also have a piece of energy coming out of the Midwest. The sooner they can interact and the further south they can interact, the better chance there is for snow. Low pressure systems are counterclockwise spinning systems. So you get northerly winds, that brings colder air. And then this is what we're talking about as we go into Monday and Tuesday here, where, there looks to be some big snow potential again for the northwest corner of New Jersey, parts of upstate New York, especially in the Hudson Valley, and then even the eastern part of Pennsylvania. Now, I'll toss it over to Sean as we talk about the late Friday storm system here. And Sean, tell us what we're looking out for. And I should say late next week, not late Friday, but the 18th to the 20th.
Yeah, when you're looking at something 8 to 10 days away, it's important not to get hung up on how precise everything is. This is kind of a general outlook, but we do expect as whatever this is comes through in that Thursday, Friday, Saturday timeframe of late next week, it will probably be cold enough to support snow for West Virginia through most of Pennsylvania, let's say westward from Carlisle and Allentown, and for most of New York away from the city, probably New England through the Berkshires, White Mountains, and all the way up there. And it is too early to give up on snow, I think, even for South Jersey, Richmond, and perhaps even as far south as Greensboro and the Triad. So again, this far out with so much cold coming in, there's still way lots of uncertainty. But it is going to be active for sure over these next 8 to 10 days. So
Yes.
we will be earning our keep, Joe, for sure. So let's take this home for the last three bullet points. So we've got this Friday storm coming up, but this one's mostly going to keep the snow in upstate New York this Friday. So we've got a much greater snow potential in the Tuesday timeframe, as far south as into Virginia. And then Friday of next week, 18th, 19th, 20th, about that ballpark. Still more questions than answers. Having said that, Joe, there's been a lot to look for. What else are you searching for this week, Joe?
Well, I think we'll both give the same answer for this one, and that is just like a teeny tiny break from the pattern, because once we started the middle of December, there has been storm after storm, and it only intensified as we went to January. And we love talking about weather. We love updating you. We love forecasting for you here. Don't get us wrong, but you got too much weather going on. So if we can get like a 5-day break, that would be good. Like right now we're on this 2-day break and then another storm. So if we could get out of that and back to like a 5-day break, that won't be too bad. Sean, did you want to add anything else to that?
I would tend to concur with that one for sure. A break would be nice. We have had the wettest start to the winter on record here in central Virginia. And with more precipitation coming, the wet pattern is going to stay with us for a while to come.
Exactly. Well, we will have more details for you on these specific storms on your local news website. Sean and I will be back with you next Wednesday for another snow surge. It promises to be busy, I am sure. So we will chat about that. And for more from our Lee Weather team, you can check out our Across the Sky podcast. New episodes come out every Monday, including this past Monday where we talked about seasonal affective disorder. Sean, the days are short, the nights are long. So if you're a little bit down this time of the year, this podcast episode will be for you.